It's easy for video shooters to think that they need to buy more expensive gear in order to get better looking video, but oftentimes the key to achieving this is simply to integrate some basic rules of framing and composition into your shots. We're going to break down 7 fundamental rules of composition that will help make any video you shoot, whether it's for narrative film, interviews, music videos, or even social media, look as good as possible. If you leave this video with one takeaway, let it be the rule of thirds. If you haven't heard of this concept, imagine a 3x3 grid on top of any image. You should align the key elements in the image according to this grid at the power points where the lines intersect or along with the vertical and horizontal lines. When you put the main focus of your image along this grid, the result tends to be aesthetically pleasing to your viewer. Placing the eyeline of your subject in one of the top 2 power points will look much better than having them floating in a no man's land between the points on the grid. Many cameras have a grid feature you can enable while shooting, as does just about every external on-camera monitor. Next time you're watching your favorite movie or TV show, keep this grid in mind and see where the DP chooses to place the subject in the frame.
Interesting. How do you take better photos to tell better stories? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you 4 framing and composition techniques that will instantly help you improve. And the best part about framing and composition is that it's completely free. Normally, when we talk about improving our videos or our photos, it involves spending money. Get a better camera, get this piece of software, get this camera accessory. With framing and composition, it's completely free. You just need the knowledge. So today we're going to cover 4 techniques that anyone can do. The rule of thirds, leading lines, symmetry, and framing within your frame. So look, let's simplify all of this, okay? Let's bring this down to basics so that you have a really good understanding of when, why, and where you might use some of these techniques. This is framing and composition 101. Now let's pretend for a second you were given a brief, and your brief was to capture an opening shot of this lighthouse. How would you capture it? Well, let's run through each of these 4 framing techniques and apply them to this lighthouse to see what difference it makes. Okay, so let's talk the rule of thirds. Now, the first thing that you should do is enable the grids on your camera. They look a little something like this. Now, you may have seen these grids on your camera before and switched them off because you thought that they were distracting, but if you're new to framing and composition, I encourage you to keep these switched on. Now, the grid is made up of 2 vertical lines and 2 horizontal lines, all spaced evenly apart. Now, when we place our subjects or focal points on these lines, particularly where they meet, a much more aesthetically pleasing shot is created, and our eyes are drawn to these focal points. It also helps balance a shot and gives it more context. So let's place our lighthouse to the right of our frame and place it directly on the intersecting points of this grid. This then leaves space to the left of our frame where we can fill it with something to help us tell a better story. In this case, we have the sea, some grass, and this helps give the audience a better understanding of where the lighthouse is located. Now, when shooting horizons, don't put your horizon in the middle of the frame. Try and put it on either the top or the bottom horizontal line. This allows you to make a feature of either the sky or the landscape and makes for a much more pleasing shot. Now, I've made a whole video on the rule of thirds. I will link it in the cards and put it in the description of this video. Be sure to check that out. Now, the rule of thirds technique is commonly used in interview situations. You may have noticed this when someone's being interviewed, the idea being that you give your subject some looking room. So either put them to the left or to the right of frame.
How many times has someone walked up to you and handed you their camera and said, "Hey, can you take a picture of me?" This is the most common photo scenario. It's a picture of people, which is known as a portrait. So where do you place the people inside the frame? You need to use the rule of thirds. It's super easy to use this rule. Imagine that you draw 2 vertical lines at the 1/3 points in your frame, and then you draw 2 horizontal lines that are also at the 1/3 point. Typically, you want to place your subject on either the left 1/3 of the photo or the right 1/3 of the photo. You also don't want your subject just facing straight towards the camera, but have them facing one way or the other. Now, let's place my body on the left third and get your subject to face their body inwards into the photo and then look at the camera. It's a very nice placement. But what you don't want is to have your subject on the left 1/3 facing out of the photo. The reason for that is because your viewer's eye will follow what your subject is looking at, and your viewer's eye will leave the photo and it will never come back. So place your viewer either on the left third or the right third. Now let's talk about where the face goes, because this is the most important part. Do not place your face in the middle of the photo. You don't want a shot where the face is in the middle and then the second half of the photo is sky. You want your face to be on the top 1/3 line, preferably where 2 of the third lines intersect. This can be on the left or it can be on the right. Now let's say that you're standing in front of a viewpoint of some type. You want to do a second thing now, and that is to place the most important element on the other third line. So here's what I mean. Let's say I'm standing in front of a lavender field and there is one stone house out in the middle of that lavender field. You want to place that stone house on the right third of the photo. So I'll be on the left third, I'm looking at the camera, the stone house is on the right third. Now you have a perfectly composed photo.